Hey listener, are you ready to dive into something incredible? Today we're talking about bionic ears. Cochlear implants. It's like something out of science fiction. We actually have an article all about them that you sent us.
Oh, yeah. This one by William L. Weaver.
Yeah, exactly. He wrote this piece for Scientific Computing and Instrumentation back in December of 2001. And we're going to unpack it all for you today.
It's really fascinating stuff.
I know. Right, so to set the scene a little bit, we all know that hearing is super important. But can you imagine what it would be like to just suddenly lose it?
Totally. Like going from hearing everything to complete silence.
Yeah, Weaver actually starts his article with a story about Rush Limbaugh, the radio personality.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
So it was back in 2001, Limbaugh suddenly went completely deaf. It was a really big deal at the time.
For sure. I mean, it really makes you think about how much we rely on our hearing.
Exactly. And how devastating it would be to lose it.
Yeah.
But thankfully for Limbaugh, this all happened at a time when cochlear implants were becoming more advanced.
Definitely more available, too.
Yeah. So before we get into the nitty-gritty of cochlear implants, maybe we should just do a quick recap of how hearing actually works.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
It all starts with sound waves, right? They enter the ear canal.
Uh-huh. The outer ear?
Exactly. And they hit the eardrum, causing it to vibrate.
Like a tiny little drum solo happening in your ear.
Huh. That's a great way to put it. So then those vibrations travel through the middle ear, which has these three tiny bones.
Oh, yeah, the malleus and syncesis and stapes. I always remember those.
Right. And they amplify the vibrations and pass them along to the inner ear. That's where the real magic happens.
Okay. So tell me more about the cochlea.
All right. So the cochlea, it's this spiral-shaped structure filled with fluid. And inside, there are thousands of tiny hair cells. And as the vibrations come from the middle ear, they cause the fluid to move.
Okay.
And that movement bends the tiny hair cells.
So it's like this super sensitive, watery microphone in there.
You got it. And when those hair cells bend, they trigger nerve impulses. And these impulses travel along the auditory nerve to the brain. And then the brain goes, aha! I hear a sound.
It's amazing how all of that happens so quickly.
I know. Right. So basically, it's this whole chain reaction from sound wave to brain signal.
Okay. Gotcha. But what happens when something in that chain breaks down?
Well, that's where hearing loss comes in.
Makes sense.
And a lot of times the problem is damage to those little hair cells in the cochlea. So you can imagine like a big field of wheat swaying in the wind.
Okay. You can see that.
Yeah. So those are your healthy hair cells responding to sound. But then let's say a storm comes through and it just flattens all the wheat.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It can't really sway anymore, right? And that's kind of like what happens with damaged hair cells.
So even though the neurons are fine, they're not getting the signal because the wheat is down.
Exactly.
Interesting. So how do cochlear implants fix this flattened wheat field?
Well, cochlear implants, or CIs for short, they're like these tiny little technological superheroes.
Ooh, I like that.
Right. They basically swoop in and save the day. They bypass those damaged hair cells and stimulate the auditory nerve directly.
Hold on. So they skip over the whole hair cell step completely. How's that even possible?
It's really ingenious. Okay, so a CI has a few main parts. First, there's a microphone that sits behind the ear, and that picks up sound from the environment.
Gotcha.
Then there's a speech processor that filters and converts those sounds into electrical signals.
So it's turning sound into electrical impulses.
Yeah. And then those signals are sent to a transmitter, which beams them to an array of electrodes surgically implanted in the cochlea.
So there are these little mini antennas inside the ear.
You got it. Those electrodes are the real game changers.
Cool.
They basically take over the job of those damaged hair cells and directly stimulate the auditory nerve fibers with those electrical pulses. And that's how the brain gets the info it needs to perceive the sound again.
Whoa. So they're giving those neurons a direct line to the sound, bypassing the damaged parts.
Exactly.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Weaver actually mentions that CIs were first approved for adults back in 1985.
Yeah, way back then.
Right.
And they were pretty basic. Back then, it was like having a single electrode trying to stimulate the whole cochlea. Imagine trying to paint a masterpiece with only one color.
That doesn't sound very effective.
It wasn't ideal. You could hear something, but it wasn't very clear or natural.
Right.
Thankfully, though, things have come a long way since then. Researchers like Professor Philippos Loizou.
Oh, yeah. At the University of Texas at Dallas.
You know it. They've been instrumental in developing multi-channel CI.
Multi-channel. So that means more electrodes, right?
Yep, exactly. So instead of just one electrode, there's an array of them positioned along the length of the cochlea that allows for stimulation at multiple points. It's like going from that single color painting to a full spectrum of colors.
Oh, wow. So much more detail.
A much richer experience for sure.
That makes total sense.
Okay.
Are multi-channel CIs like the standard now?
Oh, yeah. They've become the go-to for sure.
Yeah.
But even with multiple electrodes, there are still challenges.
Really? Like what?
Well, think about it. If all those electrodes are firing at the same time, their electrical fields can actually interfere with each other.
Oh. It's like trying to have multiple conversations going on at the same time. You can't understand anything.
Uh-huh. Yeah, exactly. It's called electrical crosstalk.
Crosstalk. Huh.
So to solve this, researchers at the Research Triangle Institute, they developed this really cool technique called continuous interleaved sampling, or CIS for short.
Okay, break that down for me. What is CIS and how does it help?
Okay, so imagine a busy intersection with a traffic light. If all the cars just tried to go through at once, it'd be total chaos.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
But with the traffic light, each direction gets its turn.
Makes things much more organized.
Exactly. So CIS, it's like a traffic light for the electrodes. It fires them in a very specific sequence.
Oh, cool.
So each one gets a dedicated time slot to speak without interfering with the others.
That's awesome. So CIS basically brought order to the electrical chaos.
You got it. And that's how they were able to minimize that crosstalk and make the sound much clearer for the listener.
It's incredible how they're basically recreating the experience of hearing through technology.
I know, right. And this was all cutting edge back in 2001 when Weaver was writing this article. But things have changed a lot since then.
That's what I was just thinking. Like, what's happened in the past 20 years?
Well-
What are the latest advancements in CI technology?
Well, that's a whole other fascinating chapter in the story of the Bionic Ear.
Ooh, I can't wait to hear about it.
We'll get to that right after the break. Don't go anywhere, listener. We'll be right back with more on this deep dive into the world of cochlear implants. It's amazing to think about everything we just talked about. Multi-channel CIs, CIS to reduce crosstalk. All that was cutting edge just a couple of decades ago.
It really makes you wonder what the next 20 years will bring. So we've talked about all those core components: electrodes, speech processor, wireless communication. What other exciting developments are happening now?
Well, one area that's really taking off is combining CIs with other hearing technologies.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, some people are getting a lot of benefit from what are called hybrid systems.
Hybrid systems.
Yeah, they combine a cochlear implant with a bone conduction hearing aid.
Okay, I've heard of bone conduction headphones
Mm-hmm.
for like listening to music.
Yeah.
But I don't really get how that would work for hearing loss.
It's pretty neat. Actually, bone conduction hearing aids, they bypass the eardrum and middle ear completely.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they transmit sound vibrations through the bones of the skull directly to the inner ear.
So it's like sending the sound through a back door instead of the main entrance.
Haha, exactly. So for people whose hearing loss isn't just because of those damaged hair cells, this can be a game changer.
Oh, I see.
They get the benefits of the CI for the high frequencies, and the bone conduction helps with the lower frequencies. So it creates a more balanced and full auditory experience.
It's like getting the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Are there other combinations being explored too?
Oh, definitely. Researchers are always pushing the boundaries. Some are looking at ways to use electrical stimulation, not just to bypass damaged hair cells, but to maybe encourage the growth of new ones.
Wait, seriously? So we might be able to regrow those flattened wheat fields we were talking about earlier.
It's still early, but the research is looking promising. There's also a lot of work being done on developing fully implantable CIs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, imagine a device that's completely under the skin, no more external parts.
No more batteries or transmitters. That would be incredible.
Right. The possibilities really are endless, and as technology keeps getting better, we can expect even more amazing breakthroughs.
Okay, so let's talk about the future. If we've come this far in just a few decades, what could be possible in the next 20 years?
Just imagine cochlear implants with hundreds, maybe even thousands of electrodes.
Oh,
That would mean even more precise targeted stimulation of the auditory nerve, leading to clearer, richer sound.
so it's like going from standard definition to high definition.
Right.
But for hearing.
Exactly. And it's not just about clarity. Imagine pairing CI technology with artificial intelligence.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, AI could tailor the sound processing based on the person's needs and their environment, and it could do it all in real time.
So like, if you're in a noisy restaurant, your CI could automatically filter out the background noise. and amplify the voices of the people you're talking to.
Exactly. It could even translate languages in real time, so you could understand someone speaking a foreign language instantly.
That's mind-blowing. It's like having superhuman hearing.
And who knows what other incredible applications we might discover.
Right.
As our understanding of the brain and sound perception grows, the future of bionic hearing is wide open.
This deep dive has been an amazing journey. We started with sudden hearing loss, explored this incredible world of cochlear implants, and now we're envisioning a future where hearing loss doesn't have to hold anyone back.
It's really a testament to human ingenuity and our desire to overcome challenges and make lives better.
Absolutely. We've covered so much. But before we wrap up, I have one last thought-provoking question for our listeners.
I love a good brain teaser. Lay it on me.
So as technology keeps getting better, what do you think it all means for people with hearing loss? For the way we communicate, how we experience the world around us?
That's a great question. And I don't think there's just one answer, but it's something we really need to think about as this technology keeps advancing.
Right.
I mean, think about how far we've come from those early single-channel CIs.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing to think about a future where hearing loss doesn't have to limit anyone.
It's truly inspiring. Like, we started this whole deep dive talking about Rush Limbaugh losing his hearing. And now we're talking about AI-powered cochlear implants that can translate languages right there in your ear.
It's incredible what we can accomplish with technology.
Totally.
Yeah.
But as amazing as all this is, technology is really only part of the solution, right?
That's a good point. It's important to remember that.
Like, what else do we need to consider?
Well, access is a big one.
Yeah. Making sure everyone who needs a CI can actually get one.
Exactly.
No matter where they live or how much money they have. That's so true. Cost can be a huge barrier.
For sure. And it's not just about the device itself. People need access to doctors and audiologists who can properly implant and adjust these things.
Right.
And we need to make sure people understand what CIs are, how they work, the benefits they can offer.
It's about education and awareness.
Definitely. Breaking down those stigmas and misconceptions.
So we can create a more inclusive world for people with hearing loss.
Exactly. A world where they're fully integrated and empowered.
It's not just about the tech itself, but how we use it and how we make sure it benefits everyone.
Well said.
Wow, this deep dive has been a real eye-opener. We've gone deep into the science, the history, the future of cochlear implants.
Have we seen how they can change people's lives?
That's what it's all about. It's amazing what human ingenuity and compassion can achieve.
Couldn't agree more.
So listener, we hope you've enjoyed this journey into the world of bionic ears. It's a topic that's full of surprises. And who knows what the future holds? Keep learning, keep exploring. That's what the deep dive is all about.